What's up, guys? It's Rich. Imagine turning 95 years old and watching your entire life's work go up in smoke. That's exactly what is happening to George Soros. For decades, he was the billionaire puppet master, buying politicians, funding chaos around the country, and reshaping entire nations. But on the other hand, the empire he built is now collapsing, and the man holding the wrecking ball is none other than his own son, Alex. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the Soros downfall, the billion-dollar bets gone wrong, the failed prosecutor project, and the shattered political machine. You're going to want to see it all. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Look, if you like our videos already and you haven't done so, you should become a subscriber to the channel. You can hit that notification bell and smack the like button because it helps us get our message out to more people. Also, you'll always be notified when a new video comes out. All right, here's the headline. America gave George Soros the destruction of his empire for his 95th birthday. A nice candle on the cake, right? This is the guy who once made $1 billion in a single day by breaking the Bank of England. They wrote books about it. He was a legend. But what we're going to see is that legends don't always age well because his son Alex took over the family business, and Alex is like the spoiled kid who inherits dad's Ferrari and drives it straight into a wall. And that wall wasn't just financial. It was political, cultural, and historic. Let's start with the money, because that's the one thing George actually knew how to make. Alex, not so much. In 2021, Alex shoveled $2 billion into a company called Rivian, the electronic car startup. 20 million shares. Big, flashy bet. Except within a year, Rivian stock fell off a cliff from $100 a share down to $18. The fund bailed out with more than $1 billion loss. Hedge Follow now gives Soros fund management 1 star out of 5. That's not just bad, guys. That's worst hedge fund in the country bad. But it turns out losing money was only step 1 in the art of destroying an empire. George had instincts, nasty, dangerous ones, but political instincts nonetheless. Alex, his big move was posting selfies with Democrats and global elites, like he's some kind of Instagram influencer. And then there was his little stunt on X. It was a photo he posted that had $47 and a bullet hole through glass. Now, normal people saw it for what it was. It was a sick threat toward Donald Trump, the soon-to-be 47th president. And sure enough, at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally, Trump was shot in the ear by Thomas Matthew Crooks, a guy who laid down literally on top of a company called American Glass Research. Coincidence? You decide. Meanwhile, Soros's flagship project, the Open Society Foundations, is gutted. They laid off 40% of their global staff. They froze new grants. The machine that once spread Soros's influence across continents, now it's dead on arrival. Alex did have one achievement, though. It was the Inflation Reduction Act, which, of course, didn't reduce inflation at all. What it did was shovel billions into green energy schemes, billions for EV chargers that never got built, billions for EV tax credits, even $3 billion for the Postal Service to buy electric trucks. Guess who was supposed to benefit? Rivian, Alex's giant money pit. But even billions in subsidies couldn't save that disaster. And because Alex is nothing if not consistent, he dropped $4 million into Stacey Abrams' doomed campaign in Georgia. Why? Because Rivian wanted to build a factory just outside Atlanta and needed the subsidies. Instead, Rivian got a $6.5 billion government loan and still produced nothing. The factory isn't built. The stock now trades under $12. Bravo, Alex. But here's the thing. George's real political weapon wasn't EV scams. It was prosecutors. He figured out decades ago that if you can buy DAs, you don't need Congress. You can control cities one courthouse at a time. Now, he had a project before that, the DA project, that was to get his own people elected as Secretary of State for states. Now, why do you think he would do that? Because the Secretary of State is the one that runs elections, which means they can cheat and it will look official. Well, it worked. A lot of them won, and soon Soros DA was synonymous with violent crime. Add in the police defunding craze of 2020, and cities were gutted. Crime surged. Soros-funded researchers tried to spin it away. They blamed the pandemic, guns, the economy. Voters didn't buy it. Now, more than a dozen Soros DAs have been removed from office, recalled, exposed in scandals, or they are just too toxic to run again. Urban crime became one of the reasons Democrats collapsed in 2024. They weren't prosecuting the criminals. They were more so going after the victims. Remember the McCloskeys in Missouri when prosecutor Kim Gardner went after them for defending their property with firearms after the woke mob broke through the private property gate during a St. George Floyd riot? And when Democrats got crushed in 2024, one reason was simple: crime. Crime that was allowed to build up because of Soros radical woke prosecutors in city after city. Immigration didn't help either. Open society meant open borders. That's what they mean by that. Soros wanted sanctuary cities. He wanted DAs to shield illegal immigrants. That project is finished too. And then came Trump. Again, a second term. The very issues that wrecked Soros, crime, immigration, government scams like the Inflation Reduction Act, were the ones voters rallied around. So let's step back for a second. Think about this. George Soros spent nearly half a century and billions of dollars trying to shape the world in his image. He bought politicians, he bankrolled prosecutors, he pushed open borders, and he tried to rig economies. He's the guy behind the color revolution. And in the end, his empire collapsed, not because of some brilliant opponent, but because his own son was the one who brought it all down. That's the irony. For decades, Soros sold himself as the genius who could see around corners, the man who outsmarted nations. But the truth is, power built on corruption eventually caves in. It always does. And when it does, it falls fast. The real story here isn't just the fall of one billionaire. It's a warning to every elite who thinks that they can buy America forever. They can't. Because when ordinary people start to pay attention, no amount of money, no hedge fund, no foundation can stand in the way. And that's exactly what you're watching happen right now. And here's the part the media will never admit. Soros's downfall isn't just personal, it's symbolic. For years, the elites told you resistance was pointless, that their money and power made them untouchable. But look around. Voters are rejecting their policies. Their prosecutors are being thrown out of office. And their money can't buy legitimacy anymore. That's the lesson, guys. Empires built on arrogance eventually collapse. And when they do, the people they tried to silence are the ones left standing. That's you. That's America. And under Trump, that's the future. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.